Hey everybody, it's Paula. Welcome to my channel, Stitching in High Heels, where I talk about my love of all things cross stitch. If you're new here, welcome. I know I've had some new subscribers stop by from a couple of mentions recently, and I appreciate that you're here. And if you're one of the people who's been with me for a little bit longer, I'm just as happy that you're here. Please stick around. I hope you like what you see. If you do, please hit the like button. If you subscribe, I appreciate it. And you know, if you set up notifications, you'll know when I post a new video. I'm doing my best to film every 2 weeks, and with a little bit of leeway for life stuff. So if you see something you like, leave me a comment. If you have an idea for something you'd like to see differently or a way I could do something better, definitely leave me a comment for that also. I'm glad you're here. Sorry, words are a little bit tough. I'm filming this on Monday, April 22nd. I'm doing this after work. Usually I film on Sundays during the day. I didn't get a chance to do that yesterday. So the lighting's a little off. I think I've got it set up pretty well. We'll see as we go along. And my husband's outside mowing the lawn. Hopefully that's not too loud or too annoying in the background. I'll see when I play it back. So might be a little bit scattered tonight because my printer broke, so I haven't had a chance to print out my notes, and I'm just kind of winging it. So enjoy the chaos, buckle up as they say, could be a bumpy ride, and let's get right into it. So pretty much I've got my WIPs, the things that I've been working on, or works in progress, if you're not familiar with what that stands for. I don't have any finishes. I have 2 pieces that are close to a finish, but I got to put some beads on them, and I didn't get to do it before I came here tonight. I don't have anything that I started. Well, one of my WIPs was a start also, so we have that. I don't have any finishes. I don't have any FFOs. Kind of looking at the reality that I'm going to fall short on my WIPGO goals this month, but that's okay. As long as they're done by the end of the year, I'm going to give myself credit. But I also had talked, and several people were kind of interested in seeing designers where I had some previously stitched pieces and then had more of their charts. So since I actually thought I had less to show than what I actually do, I kind of picked just Nan because I have a few of her pieces that I've stitched and several of her charts that are in my want to stitch sooner rather than later pile. So let's get right into it, shall we? First up, and so my pile's off to the side, sorry about that. This is one of my WIPGO goals, and this is finished except for some beads. This is Chickadee Ornament by Victoria Sampler, and let's see, there it is. And I didn't get these ironed, I apologize. So the chart actually calls for some colonial knots made out of ribbon for flowers on this, or berries I guess they are. I'm not going to do them. I'm going to do some beads, and I just haven't pulled beads out of my stash to do it. And then next up is Outside My Window, and this is by Diane Graebner of Lynn's Prints, and this is from a Just Cross Stitch Ornament issue. I think this might be 2005. If you'd like to know, leave me a comment. I'll definitely answer for you. And this also has some beads on it, and it has beads that I know I don't have, so I need to look at the picture. I think I might be able to do bugle beads or just a string of several regular seed beads. So these should be finished within the next week, and I'll claim them as finishes by the time I see you next. So then, kind of, some of this I kind of did by prompts that would meet the Scattergories prompts in WIP Warriors, which is a Facebook group. It's closed right now, generally opens up in November-ish for new members. But I think you can see some things there and kind of check out some of their challenges. It is a group that requires participation in challenges each month, or you can update a an album to show that you're making progress, but they definitely want to see active progress on your WIPs. So I don't remember which one of these might have been prompts for that. Some of them might have been prompts for another challenge in Laura Stitching by the Shores Facebook group. I'll link that below. She does and she's been doing an I Spy challenge, which is a lot of fun. A little more relaxed than Scattergories and Whip Warriors, but also fun and a good way to kind of pull out some pieces that might not otherwise have touched. That's a long way to say I've touched several pieces this month. So first up, and these are in no real particular order other than how I have them piled up on the table over here. So this is let me get it right, Inkberry Holly by Nora Corbett. It's one of her Pixie collection, and there she is. And I am stitching her 1/1 on 25 count Stormy Cloud. I think the name of it is Stormy Clouds Lugana by Zweigart. It's one of their standard colors. It is a stamped fabric, so the back is white, the front has the modeling on it, a really pale mottled gray. But this is where I've gotten on her, and I'm really happy with this. So I was trying to get most of the black done there on her wings. There is another bunch of berries up in the top. So I'm not completely done with black, but I got to put some colors in. You can see in her wings there. You can see the outline of where her other arm is going to be and her shoulders. So I'm going to be working on some colors for a while, which is exciting. So I'm really pleased with the progress I have on her. Next is, this is a WIPGO call. This is Toys and Games stocking, and this is from the Better Homes and Gardens Gardens Heirloom Stockings and Cross Stitch book. I think there's like 10 stockings in this book. They were all published in Cross Stitch and Country Crafts magazines. I'm not sure what issues, but you might be able to find them singly in some of those issues if you can find them around. So this was a WIPGO call, and I was supposed to put 4 days of stitching in on this. I've gotten 3, but yesterday I spent a lot of time on it, so I'm going to call this pretty much done. I do want to, you'll see I have a needle stuck in here, so I want to finish out this piece of thread, and then I'll probably call that a day. But it does still have the hoop on it, but you can kind of get an idea. I've got everything down here in the toe is done, and up here on the side, and everything up until this shelf here, I'll get it closer to show you, is backstitched. There is a lot of backstitching in these. These are from like the 80s and 90s, but the backstitch really makes a difference in these. So everything I've worked on is in my hoop here. Let me fold it one more time here. So everything is in the hoop there. And the first time I worked on it, I did all the backstitching here, the plain, the piggy bank, all of that. Set up the garland. There'll be some popcorn. If you see this brown string here, there's popcorn that goes along that. I'm not sure if I'm going to do knots like it calls for or beads. And then I moved up and started the next shelf. Got a lot of stitching done on got the train stitched. Now I'm stitching the shelving in behind it, and then I'll backstitch that. Part of what had me hesitant to pick this up, I wasn't sure where all the threads were, and I thought I was going to have to pull all the threads. By a very fortunate coincidence, I was looking for a color for another project, and I found some boxes of bobbins that I had for projects that I never labeled, right? Why label it? And I found all the threads for this, and I also found the threads for Holly and Ivy by Teresa Wentzler, which was another one of my WIPGOs that I haven't even pulled out yet. So that'll get worked on at some point during this year, probably not in the next week. But at least I know where the threads are. I put the threads with the fabric in the chart, so it'll be easier to pull them out and work on them. I also worked on the Loose Feathers by Blackbird's Designs. These are from 2011, and this is their summer, fall, and winter, and you can stitch them all in one piece, which is what I'm doing. I don't have the picture that's all of them together right here, but I've been working on summer, and I did get some more progress on this since you saw it last. I'm actually pretty close to having this first section finished. So I worked more on the bird. I got the bird on there. So I just have to finish the bird, and then I have to do the alphabet down here. And once I do the alphabet here, then I'll move on into the next section. So I'm stitching this. I've been forgetting to tell you. This is 2/2 on 28 count antique lace Lugana by Seraphim, and I'm using all the called for threads for this one. And the Toys and Game stocking is 2/2 on mushroom Lugana. I did tell you about Inkberry Holly. She's 1/1 on 25 count Lugana. I also picked up To All a Good Night by Autumn Lane Stitchery, and you did see this a little bit last time, and I did say that I want to get this finished in time for the Queen City Stitchers retreat. So I got this fully kitted as part of the Nice List box from the Black Needle Society. Not the 2023 box, the 2022 box, but this piece has now been released to the general public, so you can get it if you want it. And here's where I'm at. So I'm stitching this 2/2 on 28 count opalescent white cashel, and I got that frame finished and started up in here. I did spend some time getting the chart into Markup XP and marking off everything that I'd finished, and that really helped me. It was easy to see these blues up in here because this top part is going to be fully stitched. It's kind of full coverage inside that frame, so it's easier to, and it has like an ombre effect down here, so it's going to be easier to keep track. I do know that these stitches right in here, wrong way, these stitches right in here, I'm going to have to frog them. I've got them lined up wrong. I'm not sure what I was counting off of, because if you see, these stitches here are supposed to be right to that side of the chimney there, and they're not. But everything else, all these other houses seem to be correct. So that was kind of why I worked on some of that black framing. I wanted to make sure that I was counting correctly. And now I know I am, except for that one small section. So having it in Markup XP and being able to highlight the symbols, that was a huge help. And I think this should move along pretty quickly. So that on the top here, I finished all of that color. So next I'll be working on the next color down, and that'll go as quickly as this did. So I'm very happy with my progress on that too. I don't think it'll be a problem to get it finished by October, unless a whole bunch of squirrels cross my path, right? Isn't that how it always goes? I also worked on, this is another piece that I want to have done by October to take to the retreat. I started it at last year's Queen City retreat, which was, Nora Corbett was our guest there, and so it was all Mirabilia themed. And I started this with Kelly from Pages and Stitches. She's Pages 3 Stitches, and our goal is to have it finished. So we have a picture of the two of us together at the end of the weekend when we started it, so now we can take it and take a picture of our finishes and have our finishes on the brag table this year. Even though it's Autumn Lane Stitchery is going to be the featured designer at the retreat, we can bring other pieces, which is cool. So this is Snapdragon. She's another one of Nora Corbett's pixies. And there she is. So I'm stitching her 2/2 on a piece of mystery pink. Pretty sure it's Lugana. It's an even weave. It's not a linen. And I'm pretty sure I got it when, picked it up when Mary Jane's Stitchery in Illinois was going out of business. And it's not labeled. So I'm sure when I ordered it, when they had everything marked down, I knew what it was. And when I put it back in my stash, I didn't label it. But here's where she's at. So her entire skirt is finished except for the beads. And I started on her wings. So if you've never tried a Mirabilia or a Nora Corbett and you'd like to, I can highly recommend her. She's stitching up really very quickly. And as with all of Nora's charts, once you get, you know, like one color in, everything flows from there. They're a pleasure to stitch. There's not a lot of super confetti, you know. You can do not huge blocks of color, but there are bands of colors, and they all kind of flow from each other. So highly recommend it. Give it a try. It's one stitch at a time. And some of the pixies also, they don't have as many beads as some of the big fancy ladies if you haven't ever done any of that. They're also honestly a little more affordable to kit up. Some of the bigger pieces can be pretty spendy when you get all the beads and treasures in. And you know what? I love the sparkle and I love to put the beads in. But in all honesty, if you really wanted to switch out beads for thread, you could easily do that as well. So lots of options and lots of opportunities, I should say, to be creative with them and still have a very beautiful product. So I also was able to join Pam from Stitching in the Land of Good Enoughs hosts a Hawk Run Hollow Zoom. I think it's on a Thursday. I think it's the second Thursday of every month. And I was able to join in. It's been a while since I was able to stitch with them, and it's a fun group, and I really enjoy it. But I'm working on Christmas at Hawk Run Hollow, and I did get a couple hours of stitching in while we were on the Zoom. So I'm working in block 2 here with that gigantic house and all the snow. And here's where I'm at. I finished up those little peacocks. I got the steps for the house in, filled in the light on the lamps. So I do also have this in Markup RXP. I need to do a little better scan and adjust my grid a little bit. I'm learning more about it, and it's really not hard. It's just a process, and I purchased it right before they switched to the monthly subscription plan, and then I didn't spend a lot of time messing with it because I had a lot of pieces that were already in progress and had significant progress on them, so I didn't want to spend the time to get the chart in and mark off everything I'd already stitched. So now, like things like the Autumn Lane Stitchery piece and other pieces as I go, I'll be putting it in right away and using it more, and I'm sure becoming more familiar with it. But those are the pieces that I've worked on since we visited last. So you can probably see from my last episode, you know, I just haven't had as much time to stitch, and I've had a few days when I really just haven't felt like stitching. But I'm satisfied with the progress that I've made. You know, as the weather gets nicer, and I'm sure no matter which hemisphere you're in, you know, as the weather's nicer, you kind of want to be outside as you're able and do more things outside, and there's more things to get out and about and do. So stitching time kind of ebbs and wanes, which is fine. It's always there. Thankfully, you know, our threads and stuff don't expire, so they're always there when we're waiting for them. And so, without further ado, I will start showing you my Just Nan finishes. The designer of Just Nan is Nan Caldera. Sure, if you've seen some of her recent pieces, she works a lot with the Silver Needle in, I think the Silver Needle's in Tulsa. And she does some exclusives for them. They carry a lot of her charts. And I'm sure you've seen recently people working on, she does the little mice and some other pieces. I haven't really gotten into them, but part of what I do like about so many of her pieces is that they're not huge. I do have a tendency to stitch bigger pieces, and it's nice to have pieces that are smaller to kind of break that up a little bit. So I'm going to show you what I've got kind of in the order that I finished them in. The first piece will be an FFO. I don't remember exactly when I stitched that. It might have been like 2015, so it might not have been as early as my first finished piece. But it is my only FFO to date, and then I'll show you my finishes, and then I'll show you the other charts that I have to give you kind of another idea of what's available from Just Nan. And I apologize, I have no idea. I think some of these are probably out of print. I didn't look to check. But if you do want to know, definitely reach out. I can get you the published date and such on some of these. And, you know, I can look to see if I can find out for sure that it's in print or out of print. But first I have the Heart of Spring, which is my one FFO. And there it is. And this frame, it's stitched 2/2 on a pink linen. Oh, I do have a date on it. Looks like I stitched this in 2019. But it's stitched 2/2. The little chart, that little heart charm came with it. And this frame is just I think I picked it up for like $1 in Michael's. It's just a flat frame. Comes with this peg that you can see to stand it up, and just these little clips in the back. So I painted it pink, and then sponged, if you can see, sponged some purple paint over top along with some glitter. The glitter isn't really showing well here, but it does have a little bit of sparkle to it. And then after I mounted the piece, I took, these are just beads that come on a string, and I just glued that around the opening. And then these are flowers. I think they're from like the scrapbooking area, and they're just ribbon flowers, and I just kind of glued them on there until I was happy with the look. And that's Heart of Spring, and that's my FFO. I did finish another small piece that came with a limited edition frame. I think it was called Daffodil Run or something, but I gifted that to a friend, so I don't have that anymore. And I couldn't find a picture of it in a quick search. So I know that one is definitely out of print. That was a limited edition chart and frame. And this is, what is the name of this one? Hold on, guys. Nope. I think this one is, I think the name of it was Lavender Snowflake. And I stitched this in 2001. And it's mostly 2/2. There's some eyelets in there, a couple of other specialty stitches, and some beads. And it's on, I believe, 32 count Lavender Bliss Belfast, or it might be 28 count Cashel. So there's that. So, and when I bought this, the shop that I had that was closest to me, they had a framer next door, and the framer had framed this gorgeously, and I just never pulled the trigger to get it framed and the frame removed, and yeah, so it's not framed. And now she does have a companion piece that I'll show you the chart for, so now I'm waiting till I get both of them finished, and then I'll see what I do about framing. This next one, I believe the name of this is Angel Fire Christmas, and this one's a little bigger. It's a band sampler, so let me get it in. You can see it's got a really pretty angel charm there. And then there's the bands. This one's also stitched on Lavender Bliss. I believe it's 32 count. And I think I might have bought a thread pack for this one. I'm not sure. Otherwise, it's stitched with all the called for. The other nice thing about Just Nan is most of her charts use just regular DMC. They'll use pearl cotton and floss. So, and I stitched this, finished this one in 2002. And like I said, I believe the name of that is Angel Fire Christmas. If you want to know specifically, I'll look it up. I don't have the chart anymore. I must have passed the chart along after I stitched it. And these next two I stitched in 2020. Oh, and there go my... Okay, let's keep going. If I have to, I'll edit and refilm. But this is Summer in the Meadow. She has a series of four of these in the meadow pieces. And these you can, she gives instructions, you can either finish them, fold them up, finish them as like a needle book, or frame them. I'm probably going to frame them. And there's a couple of differences in the stitching if you are going to use the needle book or if you frame them. So I stitched them to be framed. So that was Summer in the Meadow. And this is Autumn or Fall in the Meadow. And when I bought these, I bought the recommended fabric for all of them. And I have the other two in my stash, you'll see, and I do have the fabric for them as well. I think 3 of them are on natural linen, and this one was on a little different. This one's on a hand-dyed. And that's Autumn in the Meadow. And this next one is, you've seen this before. This is the ornament from, I forget, one of the just cross-stitch ornaments. And it's a Little Joy. And there's the outside piece. And then there's this little mini sampler. And this will be hard to get a focus on, I'm sure. But that gets framed in a little frame charm and mounted in the center there. So, and those are my Just Nan stitched pieces. So now I'll show you a little bit of what I have left. And, you know, going through my stash here made me want to stitch them all and get them all started. So these first 3, I can't really show you because they just came on these cards, you know, and they have the chart, so I can't really show you. But they are, and they used to come, actually there's 4 of them, and they came with a charm. And I'll see if I can find some pictures and put in here, but I have Among the Roses, Big Bee, Little Bee, Painted Lady that came with some beads and a butterfly charm, and Primrose Path that came with, there's a little bee charm with that one. I don't see, oh, this Big Bee, Little Bee is supposed to have 2 charms with it, but I didn't get them for some reason. So, but if you see, these I know are out of print, but this is how a lot of these used to come, these little 5x7 cards. And the rest of these I'll go kind of by size, but also in alphabetical order. So then another one that I picked up is, and I have the fabric with this one as well as the charm. This is the Christmas butterfly ornament. That's going to be pretty. I love the colors in that. And then the charm is down there. Came with the charm. And this is Rudy Reindeer, and he's from 2011, it says right on the front. Let's see if I can avoid the glare there. So that's not too bad right there. That's Rudy Reindeer. And I didn't get fabric for him, but he looks like he's stitched on a pretty neutral fabric, and that came with beads. And then there's Tiny Christmas Biscornu, and I don't know, so it shows 3 different options on here. That bottom one's covered. You see, I'm getting the beads out of the way a little bit for you. So there's 3 different, I guess it's just 3 different views, but there's a front and a back that you stitch. You see that there. So let's see. There's one side, and that's the other side. And this also came with the beads, and this is another one I didn't purchase fabric for. It calls for Picture This Plus Gingerbread 32 count Belfast, which I'm sure I have. So, and this next up is Wintry Mix, which is another small ornament piece. And some of these are working really well. There we go. So that's Wintry Mix. And part of what I love about these, like I said, they're not big at all. This one, most of them are like 40 to 50 stitches by 40 to 50 stitches. So this one will be 3.5 inches square on 28 count linen, which is the recommended linen. And she calls for 28 count raw linen on that one. And then this one, the chart is bigger. Oh, well, this one is bigger. This one's 113 by 113. This is Deck the Halls. And I just love the colors in this one. And this one, she did actually use silks, and I was able to pick up the silk thread pack for that. I picked that up, I picked up when Mary Jane's was selling, when they had their end of business sale on. And this one's called October Eves, and it says, "Listen, the wind is rising and the air is wild with leaves. We have had our summer evenings, now for October Eves." A really pretty fall piece. So, and then next up, she did these. This is called Seasonal Gems, and there's 2 of these. This one is winter and spring. They're just on cardstock, and they came with the beads to complete them. And these are each 41 by 41. And then there's also, I also have these. These 2 I know are out of print, and they can be kind of hard to find. And oh wait, winter and spring, and summer and autumn. So there's those, and they did come with the beads. I have another bigger one here, Snowfire Christmas, and I've seen this one stitched, and as we say with a lot of things, doesn't do the piece justice. The colors are just gorgeous and rich in this. And this one is the companion to Lavender Snowflake. This is called Snowflowers. You can see it's similar on a darker linen. The colors are a little different, but that'll be a fun stitch. And they're similar in size. They're a little bigger. This is 97 by 97. And then this is Summer in the Meadow, and you can see on the cover of this one how they have it framed, or you can fold it up, and then they show you the different views there. But I like them better as the framed pieces. Or I might make them into little pillows. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. And last but not least is Winter in the Meadow. And there's that one. So that's a few of my Just Nan pieces. I do have one other sampler. I just realized that I'm not sure where it is. I wasn't with my other charts. But that'll give you an idea of what Just Nan has to offer, and what her pieces look like. Like I said, I love that they're smaller, and I love the effects that she gets with not very many stitches. They're not, it's not a lot of confetti. It's a small number of stitches, but they make sense, and you can really see the design grow as you stitch it. So that's about it for me. Plans. May is coming up, and people do different things in May. I'm hoping to spend a lot of time concentrating on my Mirabilias, Garden Verses, and the ones you saw today. Hopefully maybe getting closer to some finishes there. And I'll be doing, my WIPGO calls as well. So I'm going to say goodnight and get this edited and posted for you, so I'm kind of on schedule. And until we see you again, enjoy, stitch what you love, like everyone says. See you soon. Bye.